into the evening. E-bikes come in many sizes, some so heavy and fast they seem more like a motorcycle. Yesterday on the show, a provincial coroner was making the case to classify those bigger ones differently. For instance, by requiring a driver's license to operate one of them. She says this is necessary given an increase in very serious accidents.
We started to see a bit of a trend around 2021 where there were more of these e-bikes involved in collisions. When we saw that, we realized that most of the ones that were involved in collisions looked like motorcycles or looked like Vespa scooters. They didn't look like bicycles. And all of the vehicles had been adjusted such that they were going faster than the limit that is supposed to be there for e-bikes.
Got us thinking about what the picture is like in Toronto hospitals. And at St. Michael's, doctors are taking part in a study tracking e bike injuries. Dr. Steve Lynn, chief of the emergency department at St. Mike's, and is with us now. Dr. Lynn, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
How often are you seeing e bike injuries come through the emergency department?
Yeah, with the increased use of e-bikes, we're seeing many more injuries, and basically just like a numbers game. We are seeing uh, injuries from e-bike use probably on a daily basis, much more so than we've had before.
A daily basis, that surprises me. What are the types of injuries?
And the injuries can range from very minor injuries or minor scrapes to very major injuries where they're having significant fractures, head injuries, even skull fractures. And being a trauma center, we actually disproportionately get more injuries and more major injuries from these because some people who get injured bypass some of the local hospitals and come directly to a trauma center. And so we've seen an increase in the number of injuries that require admission. So the highest injury rates. Um, and so those have risen from about four that we had in 2020 to all the way to 28 in 2024. So that's about almost like a 400 to 500% increase.
Is it always riders of e bikes who are getting injured, or is it people that e bikes are hitting?
So that's a great question. We don't have that exact data, which is why we're doing this study. We're trying to better understand what is causing the injuries for e-bike users, whether they're hitting others, they're hitting cars, or getting into motor vehicle accidents. And so one part of the study is to better understand the circumstances of the actual accident itself. And so we hope to capture this by looking back at old charts as well as interview patients who are injured in the emergency department.
One of the challenges, just in any city environment where e-bikes exist, is that they're very useful, particularly for people trying to get to transit or from transit, trying to get to work, to school. They come in all shapes and sizes, e-bikes. Some of them are just sort of battery assist on biking up hills, and others are much more like a motorcycle. Um, how do you how do you address the fact that e-bikes have become so ingrained in city life?
Yeah, and I think they're not going away, right? They're a kind of low cost, low carbon micromobility device where people can get around and it's improved people's um, uh, ability to move around in a city that's so congested with traffic. So I think for our study, we're trying to better understand the injury rates as well as get together people who use e-bikes, gig workers, legal experts, newcomers, people who are involved in regulations, even the Toronto Police, to better understand how to make things safer. Because really, solutions that can decrease injury rates only work when they reflect real world experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So we really want to help better understand this and co-design any type of interventions that may help with decreasing injury rates from these.
There are very often speed governors on e-bikes that cap them around 32 kilometers an hour. That's still, I mean, almost double what the average bike will be traveling at, like a regular pedal bike. But some people have actually been removing or switching off the speed governors so that their e-bike goes much faster. What is the risk there?
Yeah, once you take off that, and the speeds can increase really high, and with more speed just comes with more injuries and more severe injuries. So the e-bike regulations are not as strict as say motor vehicles, But I suspect that if you're trying to go at speeds that are higher than 32 and getting upwards to really high speeds similar to cars, I think there needs to be more regulations around that.
Some of the big factors you'd like people to consider, e-bike riders, when they are heading out each day?
I think the number one rule is always wear a helmet. That's non-negotiable. We know that helmets save lives. They decrease the risk of injury by about 80%. And so I think that's the number one thing we need to do. But really, at the heart of all of this is the simple truth that safety is a shared responsibility. E-bike users need to be aware and need to be safely using their vehicle. As pedestrians and drivers, we need to know that there are many more e-bikes on the road and potentially on sidewalks. So we also need to be aware that they exist and be mindful of them.
That's very good. Dr. Lynn, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Steve Lynn, who is chief of the emergency department at St. Michael's Hospital. It is, of course, a trauma hospital in the downtown core that sees a large number of injuries related to e-bikes. He is now taking part in a study of e-bike accidents that happen in the Toronto area. Speaking of getting around, let's check in on how that